Every morning you wake up and reach for your phone. Before your feet touch the floor, before you brush your teeth, before you acknowledge the world around you, there it is, the glowing rectangle that has become more intimate than your pillow, more demanding than your alarm clock, more essential than your morning coffee. You tell yourself you're just checking the time, maybe the weather, perhaps a few messages, but 3 hours later, you're deep in the comments of a stranger's vacation photos, watching videos of people you'll never meet, scrolling through arguments about topics you didn't care about yesterday. This isn't an accident. This isn't a personal failing. This is the result of the most sophisticated psychological manipulation machine ever created. A system designed not to inform you, not to connect you, but to harvest the most valuable resource of the 21st century, your attention. Welcome to the invisible war being fought inside your pocket, a war where you are both the territory and the prize. In 1922, advertising executive Claude Hopkins wrote Scientific Advertising, discovering something profound. Human attention could be measured, predicted, and controlled. The radio industry seized on this insight. For the first time, a voice could enter millions of homes simultaneously, interrupting family conversations, pulling minds from contemplation. Some media historians argue this era represented the last time human attention operated on human terms. Television shows had clear beginnings and endings. The experience was communal, scheduled, finite. People still controlled their own attention spans, but those early pioneers were teaching the world that human attention could be commodified and sold. They were proving that distraction could be profitable. The seeds of the attention economy were planted. All they needed was the right technology to bloom. The internet arrived in the 1990s with promises of democratized information and global connection. The early web was described as a library, a town square, a tool of human empowerment. Websites were destinations you chose to visit. The relationship between user and service was clear. But beneath this surface, engineers at companies like America Online were studying user engagement metrics. The data revealed something startling. People didn't want information as much as they wanted stimulation. They would trade their time for the promise of something interesting, even if that promise was rarely fulfilled. According to some accounts, this sparked what industry insiders call the engagement revolution. The goal shifted from providing useful tools to maximizing user time spent on platforms. The foundation was set for systems designed not to serve human needs, but to exploit human psychology for profit. The transformation began with Facebook in 2004. Initially described as a digital phone book, Facebook was designed to become an environment where you would spend increasingly longer periods of your day. The introduction of the newsfeed in 2006 marked the moment the attention economy truly began. Instead of requiring users to actively seek information, Facebook pushed a continuous stream of updates directly to users' screens. The psychological impact was profound. The newsfeed created what behavioral psychologists recognize as a variable reward schedule, the same mechanism that makes slot machines addictive. Users never knew what they might see next, keeping them scrolling endlessly. YouTube, launched in 2005, discovered the power of algorithmic recommendation. Its related videos sidebar created what researchers describe as attention tunnels, pathways designed to lead viewers from one video to the next without conscious decision-making. Data scientists began measuring success not in user satisfaction, but in time on site and engagement rates. The advertising model was elegantly simple. Tech companies provided free services funded by advertisers who wanted access to user attention. By the 2010s, tech companies deployed sophisticated artificial intelligence to study individual user behavior and customize content feeds to maximize engagement on a per-user basis. Research by former industry insiders suggests these algorithms discovered something troubling. Negative emotions generated more engagement than positive ones. Outrage kept people clicking longer than joy. Fear held attention more effectively than inspiration. Some technology critics argue this discovery fundamentally altered the information ecosystem. Content that provoked strong emotional responses began to dominate feeds, regardless of accuracy or social value. The recommendation engines became increasingly sophisticated at predicting what users needed to see to remain engaged. Platforms began using social proof and loss aversion, suggesting users might miss important information if they didn't check regularly. Push notifications evolved into carefully timed psychological triggers. The result was behavioral dependency, a state where users felt compelled to check platforms even when they consciously wanted to engage in other activities. As these systems matured, a new economic model emerged that some economists describe as surveillance capitalism, where human behavior and attention are harvested as raw materials for profit generation. Facebook disclosed users were spending over an hour daily on its platforms. YouTube reported hundreds of millions of hours watched daily. Former executives describe internal cultures where user attention was measured in minutes and seconds, with teams competing to increase session duration. The business model was remarkably efficient. Unlike traditional media companies that created content, social media platforms convinced users to create content for free. Digital advertising could be inserted dynamically into any moment of user attention. By 2020, the average American was spending over 7 hours daily looking at screens. The platforms had evolved into what critics call attention extraction machines, systems optimized to capture and monetize human focus regardless of impact on user well-being. As the attention economy matured, researchers documented its effects on human psychology and behavior. Mental health professionals reported significant increases in anxiety, depression, and attention disorders, particularly among young people. Productivity researchers documented continuous partial attention, where individuals constantly monitor multiple information streams without fully focusing on any single task. Knowledge workers were checking email or social media every 6 minutes during working hours. Educational professionals observed decreased attention spans in classrooms, increased difficulty with sustained reading, and withdrawal symptoms when students were separated from devices. Sleep researchers documented correlations between screen time and disrupted sleep patterns. Social scientists studied social comparison syndrome, the psychological effects of constantly viewing curated representations of others' lives. TikTok, launched internationally in 2018, represented what analysts describe as the purest expression of the attention economy. Unlike other platforms with some pretense of social connection, TikTok was designed from the ground up as an attention capture device. Its endless scroll of short-form videos, powered by sophisticated AI, created what former employees describe as the most addictive user experience ever created. The algorithm analyzed user behavior in real time, tracking not just what users watched, but how long, when they scrolled away, what they rewatched. TikTok's success forced all other platforms to adopt similar principles. Instagram launched Reels, YouTube introduced Shorts. The entire ecosystem shifted toward rapid-fire, algorithm-driven content delivery. The success revealed something profound. The most effective systems were those requiring the least conscious decision-making from users. Maximum engagement meant minimizing user agency. By 2020, the attention economy had become the most valuable industry in human history. Companies like Google and Facebook achieved market capitalizations exceeding most nations' GDP, primarily through their ability to capture and monetize human attention. Former executives describe internal processes where user engagement was optimized using principles from casino design, addiction psychology, and behavioral economics. Platforms studied users' emotional states to identify optimal times for content delivery and advertising placement. The advertising model went beyond traditional marketing. Rather than simply showing ads, platforms used detailed behavioral data to predict and influence user decisions in real time. The global digital advertising market grew to over $400 billion by 2021. The result was systems designed to be persuasive by design, platforms engineered to change user behavior in ways that increase platform value, regardless of whether those changes served user interests. Today, the average person checks their phone over 100 times daily. Smartphone users receive over 60 notifications daily. Social media users spend an average of 2.5 hours daily on these platforms. Psychologists observe continuous partial attention, constantly monitoring multiple information streams without fully focusing on any single activity. Research suggests this constant interruption may be fundamentally incompatible with the deep thinking that drives innovation and learning. Educational researchers document changes in reading patterns concerning literacy experts. Heavy internet users develop skimming behavior, scanning quickly for key information rather than engaging in sustained reflective reading. Mental health professionals continue studying the relationship between social media use and psychological well-being, particularly among young people who have never known life without these platforms. We stand at a unique moment in human history. For the first time, our species has created systems capable of capturing and redirecting human attention at global scale. The decisions we make about these systems may determine whether technology serves human flourishing or human attention serves technology profits. The attention economy isn't inherently malicious. The engineers who built these systems likely didn't intend to create psychological dependency. But intention matters less than outcome, and the outcomes have become impossible to ignore. The solution isn't to abandon technology, but to develop technology that serves human intentions rather than exploiting human psychology. This might mean platforms designed to help users accomplish specific goals efficiently rather than maximize time spent. Your attention is your life. How you spend it determines what you become, what you create, what you contribute to the world. The systems competing for that attention have budgets measured in billions, algorithms refined through millions of behavioral experiments, but you have one advantage they can't replicate. You get to decide what matters. You get to choose what deserves your focus. You get to determine whether your attention serves your goals or their profits. The attention economy has taught us something valuable. Human focus is the most precious resource in the modern world. The question now is who gets to control it. If this gave you a new perspective on the invisible forces competing for your most valuable asset, remember, awareness is the first step toward reclaiming control. The battle for your attention is real, but so is your power to choose where to direct it. Your time belongs to you. The question is whether you'll claim it.